Hi everyone. So today I want to talk about these drones that have been seen all over New Jersey, now New York, Pennsylvania, and quite honestly, the sightings seem to be spreading across the country. Although some people have said that they've been seeing these for a long time, maybe a year, and no one knew what they were talking about when they told friends, neighbors, what are these drones that I'm seeing in the sky? So, first of all, I think that you absolutely deserve to be believed when you say that you've seen something, and for people to not condescendingly say, "Oh, it's just an airplane, it's a passenger jet." Um, you know what you're seeing, stick to it. Um, don't let anyone tell you what your experience is. Um, So I live in the Hudson Valley, and it seems that the sightings are spreading here. I had my own sighting with my son of something. It was not a plane, definitely. I posted the video on my channel here. Take a look. He has better videos. He hasn't had a chance to upload them. But yeah, it's something. It's something for sure. It's not a plane. And I just want to say I've seen drones, police drones or hobbyist drones, around here. Over the summer, I saw one with, the red and the green flashing light, a little bit of a buzzing sound. I stood there, it was the summer. I was probably looking for meteors or whatever. And I was kind of like, oh, red, green, that's not a plane, definitely. But then, you see it going over and you recognize it's a drone, a regular drone that people fly, or the police or an organization, small, totally normal looking. What everyone's reporting now, the size of a car, no, that's not this. It's something different. Um, and I personally don't think it is our government or another government. So we have to be open-minded about what this is. But with that said, this is freaking a lot of people out. And that's normal. That's completely normal because they're seeing drones the size of cars. You don't see that every day. It's unusual. It definitely is unusual. Um, People know what they're seeing. They're seeing orbs too. So I just want to talk for a few minutes about our history here in the Hudson Valley of seeing things in the sky, right? So I've always been interested in this. So the current news, this current flap, drone flap, whatever it is fascinating to me. Um, a little anxiety producing too, just as many of you have expressed. But in the Hudson Valley, have been a hotspot for lights in the sky, and it's well studied. Um, J. Allen Hynek, Night Siege, 1980s, um, UFO, as it used to be called, now it would be called UAP, flap, Connecticut, large boomerang objects the size of football fields. My in-laws saw them. Lots of people in my family up here, um, on my husband's side, saw them. I was on Long Island growing up at that time, so I did not see them myself. But I have been absolutely fascinated by the Hudson Valley, flap of UAP sightings, UFO sightings, boomerangs, whatever. So it was a large number of people who saw these in the early 80s. For those of you who are not here, who are not even on Earth at that time, this is one of the most famous UFO flaps in American history. And, they say over 5,000 witnesses, probably 10,000. probably tens of thousands between Connecticut and New York. It's just 5,000 if you read that in a book. Those are the people who report it. But people see things and they never report it, right? Um, so I have been wanting to get involved in studying this phenomenon. Um, because so going back to the drone flap, it's it's getting really crazy. It's getting really crazy up here, right? New Jersey, New York, New Jersey primarily. And I feel for people because they're being railroaded. They're being told you're seeing passenger planes. Come on. No, 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 no. Um, so I belong to this group, this Facebook group that's gaining 5,000 members almost every day, about the New Jersey drones. And what I want to see more of is a scientific approach by, some people, not your everyday, just people who are seeing these things, just keep reporting them. But we need some some data collection, right? About this. I put this real quick poll on the Facebook group and I asked the dominant feeling that people have when they see them. I thought it was going to be fear and anxiety. I thought that would be number one. Turned out to be curiosity was the number one. The majority said that was the feeling that they had when they saw these. And I think that's a healthy response. I think any of the responses are healthy, really. Fear is fine, anxiety is fine. But I found it interesting that more so the dominant feeling is curiosity. Okay, so I'm glad that people aren't necessarily panicking and having these high levels of fear as they see them. But that kind of thing, that was just a quick poll, but that's a little bit itty bitty 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 piece of science, right? So collecting some data about what I'm interested in because I'm a social scientist, not a physicist or those sciences is people's reaction and what these sightings, the effects they have on people, right? So I'm going to be doing a study with an amazing team of people, including Dr. Lynn Kitai from Phoenix, who you may have heard of is sort of the leading expert on the Phoenix lights, who had her own sightings and became extremely obsessed with the topic and gathered data, gathered information, right? So I'm going to be doing a study about how the Hudson Valley lights affected um, people, the effects of those sightings. And I was going to primarily look at witnesses from the 80s. Um, After the 80s, we'll include that. But now this current flap kind of adds an interesting layer to what I was going to do. But anyway, at some point, I'm going to have a link and it's going to be a substantial survey. It's not going to be a quick flash poll. It's going to be like, how did the sightings affect you over the long term? Your attitudes, your interests, your beliefs, and your consciousness. Because what some scientists are saying is that once you have a certain experience, transformative experience, like seeing orbs, seeing the boomerang, seeing UAP, um, and other experiences like near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, people start to have more of these unusual experiences. So it seems like something's happening to the consciousness after um, after an experience like this. So the study is going to be looking at the long-term sort of effects on people, on witnesses. And like I said, I was going to focus on the 80s, but there's so many sightings of orbs and UAP now too, and in the Hudson Valley, we're going to focus the survey on Hudson Valley and Connecticut, that maybe I'm going to get some more recent people who have seen things more recently, which will be interesting too. Now, I wanted to look at sort of over the years how these things have affected people, but it's quite possible that people seeing orbs and even the drones are having it's affecting them in some ways. And I think we need to look at stuff like this. Yes, the scientists, Enigma Lab, Tedesco brothers, they're amazing, have to look at the properties, the physical properties of these things, use their advanced equipment, look at the drones, look at the frequencies, try to identify them, look at the properties of the orbs, all that. And I highly, highly recommend videos featuring the Tedesco brothers from Long Island. Hannibal TV has an amazing 2 hour interview with them. So that's the physical science of it. I want to look at the psychology and the social effects of just seeing something like this. How does it change how they view the world, which I think is fascinating because now this is happening on such a wide scale. What effect are these sightings, whether they're orbs, drones, if they're drones, or if it's UAP, if it's more of an anomalous phenomenon, what effect is this going to have? This is talk about mass sightings. I was going to look at the Hudson Valley sightings of the 80s, which is, like I said, it's probably like 10,000 witnesses, right? This Facebook group has 5,000 new people every day. How many witnesses are there now to this phenomenon? How many witnesses are there to the orbs? Is this going to get to like 100,000 people, right? Across the country, you're seeing these things. I mean, New Jersey, New York. New York, we have 18 million people. The potential for the mass numbers of people to be affected by this somehow, their consciousness, their is really interesting. So watch for that study, getting it together. Have to get a survey link together. It is going to be a substantial survey. It's going to take people a half hour to fill out. So it's for serious, witnesses, experiencers who are willing to think about and reflect on how it affected them. But in the short term, I'd love to hear your comments about if you were a witness of the 1980s flap here in the Hudson Valley, or more recently, I'm hearing about triangle sightings up here, not necessarily the boomerangs of the 80s, but I'd love to hear comments about how it's affecting you, I guess, negative or positive. Even these more recent sightings, it's a month old now. For some people, they've been seeing them for a few years. How's this affecting you? Is your anxiety going up? Are you more interested in UAPs? Are you more politically attuned? Are you anything, so the more psychological sort of social effects is what I'm interested in. So anyway, thanks for listening and look at my little video there of what we saw. And I think I saw something else last night, red in the trees, lower than a plane, slow buzzing sound. What is going on? I will try to get another video if I see it again. But I'm hearing a lot about Orange County across the river here. I'd love to hear from you too about what you're seeing. All right. So let's not panic. Let's do a little more science and data gathering, and maybe I'll do some quick surveys on here too. So stay tuned. Thanks. Bye.